Hey, thanks for joining Chris and I today on the Invisible Strength podcast. We have an incredible autoimmune warrior who has turned her pain from Graves and thyroid eye disease into purpose, as she is now an integrative pharmacist and functional medicine health coach. I had the joy of talking with Elena a couple weeks ago, and I promise you, you are going to love her energy and perspective. So without further ado, Elena, thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to have you.
Thanks so much for having me.
That's a joy.
Chris, as always, it's great to see you and have another conversation with you.
No, the feeling is mutual, and I'm so excited to be here to talk with Elena as well. This is gonna be great.
For sure. Elena, before we get into your story as a patient, can you share a little bit about yourself personally and who you are?
Yeah, of course. So, actually, that's kind of like a heavy question to start with because I feel like so much has changed about
Hmm.
me personally, like since being diagnosed. Like, I used to be someone who loved to travel a lot, like constantly traveling and like loved going to like parties and festivals. And now I'm just like, I like slow mornings. I just like to chill. I'm really into yoga. I live by the beach. I'm a beach bum. I could just like go out and stare at the water for ages. I'm a dog mom. I have my new puppy. This is
Just
Kiki.
Iki, what's up?
Yeah, and I'm actually realizing lately like how obsessed I've been with dogs. So I unfortunately just said goodbye to my best friend of 11 years.
Mhm.
She just passed this summer and it's been really hard. And yeah, but I through the process and like now having this new dog and I'm just like, oh my God, I really love dogs. Like, yeah, I didn't realize how much until recently.
For
So
sure.
very excited dog mom
There it
Well, it's
is.
very fun to have a furry friend.
Hmm.
always.
Absolutely. I feel like I relate so much to what you're saying though, Elena, in terms of understanding yourself in like a completely different pace, because something that Karen and I often speak about is just the way in which so many of the autoimmune warriors that we come across were just like all gas no brakes, including ourselves, like very much live fast-paced lives. Like, how have you gone through that, whether it's a sense of grief or a sense of loss, but definitely a sense of change with understanding, okay, I now need to be a slow morning person. I need to just say, take my time, just enjoy the beach rather than the fast-paced life I used to live. Like, how did you go about that transition?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of tried to push through it first and I learned the hard way, just
Yeah.
like trying to keep up with my friends and like go to the same parties that we used to and like I don't know, just like have really bad flares every single time I tried to
Mm.
like go out at night. So now it's like, okay, well maybe I'll meet you guys for like 1 or 2 hours at a day party. Cuz I still want to hang out, I still want to dance, like I'm not going to drink
Yeah.
because I used to drink a lot. So it's just like a lot of changes that you go through. And you just, I guess you kind of learn as you go because I didn't realize how much it was actually triggering my flare ups
Hmm.
because I was go, go, go. Like I'm born and raised in New York City. Like everything happens in a New York minute.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like it took a while. Like I left New York. Like I'm between New York, but now I'm also in New Jersey with my boyfriend. So
Huh?
like I still work in New York. I'm still in New York a lot, and it's always like I'm rushing to the train. And every time I go there, I just feel like my nervous system is like revved up. And then like
Yes.
I'll come back, and I'm in on the Jersey Shore with my boyfriend now, and it's like we live by the beach. I can like walk to yoga.
There it is.
It's like very chill. So I'm kind of like slowly embracing that life and I love it and it just like really fits with my lifestyle and my health now. So, yeah.
I, I love that you lift that up because, like, I didn't even mean to wear this Knicks shirt for you, but like, but just thinking about that sort of adapting to the environment is really crucial. So thank you for lifting it up because that's such a huge part of it.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's not easy. It's like something that you kind of gradually have to get used to. Like there's no guide that says like, okay, stop doing this now and doing this now. It's like you just trial and error.
Right.
Because there is no guide, we do definitely have those moments where we've maybe done things that really are not helping our situation.
Hmm.
And I feel that as far as having to process changing your lifestyle, how did you process going from going out and dancing at night and just having all sorts of fun with your friends to really making those changes to slow down?
Yeah, I think I cried a lot. Like
Fair.
um, yeah, just, like, realizing that I can't keep up with my friends anymore and, like, kind of grieving. Now I think about, like, before my chronic illness, it's like my past life. Like, I used to do all this crazy stuff and
Mhm.
go to all these events, and, like, everyone knew me, and I was a club promoter, and then I was, like, a music blogger, and then now I'm just like, "I do yoga by the beach." Yeah, but it's definitely, like, a process of grieving your past life
Mhm.
and just slowly, like, figuring out that it's not good for you. And also just trying not to feel guilty of, like, "Well, this is what I always used to like, and if I do this now, like, it's gonna cause a flare up," and then you're kinda like, "Wait, I don't deserve to do these things," or,
Mhm.
it's like, if I have a glass of wine, like, I'm gonna feel like crap tomorrow, I don't deserve it, but, like, you do deserve it, I think it's like that mindset of telling yourself that, like, things are just, like, they look different now, and that's
Yeah,
okay, but it's not like you did it to yourself or anything.
absolutely. You know, I'm wondering about your journey where, we've talked at length about the work you've done within yourself, but at what point did you say, I want to help other people with this? Because I think about how illnesses can be so isolating. And sometimes we feel like, no one can relate to what we're going through. No one's been through what we've been through. But you're now doing coaching within this community. What was that turning point for you where you said, I think I'm in a place where I'm able to help someone else?
Yeah, for sure. So I was really, like, lonely
Hmm.
because, so thyroid eye disease is, like, disfiguring, and I kinda was hiding a lot. Like, aside from the fact that I couldn't keep up with my past lifestyle, I also didn't wanna go out because I felt ugly, and I was like, "I don't want people to see me." So I was, like, really self-isolating, and I was just, like, going and reading a lot of forums, and I was, like, reading other people's stories really helped me, and
Yeah.
I was just like, "I want to, like, share this with other people because I know that I'm not alone in feeling this way, but everyone else is, like, too shy or also hiding themselves and isolating themselves and sitting home and crying and being depressed." And I was like, "Well, maybe if we just had, like, each other, it would feel a little better." So I started doing these, like, free workshops, like, support groups, just to kind of connect with other people who have
Mm-hmm.
it. And I think, like, to also answer your question is I've been a pharmacist for 14 years,
Hmm.
and just, like, helping people is just, like, ingrained in me. Like, it, like, feels good. Like, I want to help people. Like, people come into the store, and I'm, like, asking them a million questions because 'cause I'm, like, trying to help them find the perfect supplement or over-the-counter thing because it's, like, I genuinely want you to feel like you were heard
Hmm.
and that, like, someone wants to help you. It just, like, yeah, I think I might have went on a tangent there,
The
sorry.
passion jumped out. No need to apologize. The passion jumped out.
But I feel that because we often say it's like even though millions of people are diagnosed with various autoimmune conditions, it's still so incredibly isolating.
Hmm.
So being able to hear and listen to other people's stories gives you that sense of, okay, I'm not alone. And there is a community of people who are living great lives with these conditions. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Thank you.
And I just love your passion to help other people. That's just wonderful.
Hmm.
Can you share a little bit about your work as a functional medicine health coach and how you help people?
Yeah, so it's, like, a lot. So I kinda started, like, in pharmacy because I loved when people would come in and, like I said, like, I would ask them a bunch of questions and, like, help them find the perfect supplement. And then I went through my own health journey, and actually before I even got diagnosed with Graves or TED, I had PCOS, and I
Gotcha.
really struggled with getting over it, and I went to the doctor, and, the gynecologist, and she was just like, "Oh, well, there's nothing we can do for you, but we can put you on some birth control." I'm like, "I don't want to be on birth control. Like, what's another option?" And she's like, "Sorry, that's it. There's nothing else we can do." And I was like, that just didn't sit right with me. I was like, there's definitely something else that you can do. And then I'm like thinking like, why do women with PCOS come into the pharmacy and pick up metformin, which is like a diabetic medication? So then I started reading about it, and I learned about root causes and insulin resistance. And, I was like, interesting. So I tried a supplement that was similar to that, and it really, really helped me. And I was like, there is something here. I was like,
Hmm.
I gotta tell the girls. And I was just like, that's when I started learning about functional medicine,
Yeah.
and I got really passionate about it and finding root causes and, like not just treating symptoms, but being like, why do we have these symptoms? Like, how do
Mm.
we prevent these symptoms from coming? Yeah, did some training in that. And then, yeah, then I was diagnosed with Graves and TED. And it was like, it didn't feel like a chronic illness. It felt like something very acute because it was like, if you let this go uncontrolled, or if you do this in a natural way, your thyroid is gonna go into a thyroid storm and you're gonna die and your eyes are gonna bulge out of your head. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna take the medicine, like, fine. And I did take the medicine, for like the first part of my journey. And then going through it, I felt better and I was like, okay, this is fine. But then as I weaned off the medicine, everything kinda came back, and I was like,
Mm.
"Okay, well, now I'm gonna try the functional medicine part of this," and
Yeah.
that's when, like, things really got better for me. So I was like, "I this is what I wanna share with people, like, this is how I want to share it." So yeah, then I went into the coaching just so that I can make this more accessible to people
Hmm.
and all over, because like, I'm in New York, I'm licensed in New York. I can help people as a pharmacist, as a functional medicine practitioner in New York, but to help people all over and teach them the principles of functional medicine,
Hmm.
I can, expand on that by coaching them to better health.
Absolutely. What has surprised you on this coaching journey so far? Like, what's something that you've seen in terms of, this is not your first foray into the medicinal space, but it feels very different than, being like a functional medicine, a practitioner, or as a pharmacist. Like, what has been surprising for you?
A few things, like, I think one of the one things that stands out to me a lot is like the doctors don't help the patients really, like,
Mm.
I mean, they do. I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm saying, like, they kinda don't talk to them about other things. They're just like, "Here's the medicine, see you in 6 months."
Yeah.
And, they don't talk to them about diet and lifestyle changes. They don't talk to them about supplements. They don't talk to them about, like, nutrient deficiencies for the most part.
Hmm.
They do, like, a kind of surface level check, I feel like, of some nutrients,
Hmm.
but, like, maybe not always vitamin D. Like, I get a lot of people with really low vitamin D, and I'm
Hmm.
like, "How did your doctor, like, not say something to you about this?" Like,
Hmm.
this is, like, I mean, and it's for autoimmune conditions, like, vitamin D is so helpful, like,
Yeah.
and you just see them improve right away just by, like, starting a supplement, spending more time in the sun, eating more foods that have vitamin D in it. So it's, like,
Hmm.
something so simple that the doctor can definitely go over with them, and it's, like, no one ever hears about that.
Hmm.
And also something that's really surprising is just, like, the medical gaslighting that people go through.
Hmm.
'Cause a lot of people come to me because, like, they're not feeling heard by the doctor, or the doctor is not, like, checking enough stuff, or, like, they tell them, like, "I'm really tired," or "I'm gaining weight," or "I'm losing a lot of weight," like, depending on what it is, and the doctor's just like, "Oh, well, that's normal," or "It's aging," or, they come in, they have really low iron or ferritin, which a lot of doctors don't even check, and the doctor will be like, "Oh, well, you're a woman, you get your period, that's why your iron's low." That's the end of the
Mm.
conversation. Like, yeah, that just, like, doesn't sit right with me at all.
Yeah, understandable.
I love that you bring this up though, especially around vitamin D. I had a similar experience with vitamin B. My body just wasn't absorbing it.
Right.
So I ended up with, people know this, but avascular necrosis and in multiple joints. Went to see, I don't know specifically what specialty he was, but he said, you just need to start taking these B vitamins. And ever since I started, no more AVN has shown up since then. So it's incredible how some of these areas where we may be deficient have no clue, and a simple fix can greatly change your trajectory. It's just
Hmm.
wild to me.
Yeah, it's so true. I see a lot of people who they go and they get their iron panel done and everything looks great. But then the doctor never checks their ferritin levels, which is
Hmm.
like your iron stores. And
Okay.
they'll come in super low. And then once they start supplementing, it's like the fatigue goes away, the coldness goes away, the cold, like they're always cold, like all these symptoms that their hair stops falling out. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh well, I thought I had hypothyroidism, but it turns out I just didn't have enough iron,
Mm.
because the symptoms are so similar.
And that sounds like, you know, for me, I've always felt like going into my doctor's appointments, I had to walk this line of I had to show that I'd been, reading up and making like educated decisions about my body, but I've always felt like doctors were so guarded against anyone who sounded like they went to like TikTok or Google University. And so this whole sense of how do you become an educated patient seems to be flowing through what you're saying, and I think could be very helpful in preventing medical gaslighting. What are some of the ways that you've tried to educate the folks that you're working with to really understand how their bodies function?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Dr. Google or TikTok myself. Like I think I've seen a lot of good ideas and education come up from like Instagram or TikTok, but like always fact check. Like if you see any kind of information and you're like, oh wow, that's crazy, like you know what? Then like dig deeper. And there's not always going to be like a medical study, but I like to look for a lot of things on PubMed. Like I like to see that there's a clinical reference for something. And
Hmm.
sometimes you might not find it. Like things are anecdotal, but I would just keep searching. Like if I heard this on TikTok, I would be like, okay, well, let me Google, let me check a Facebook group, let me go on Instagram. Like let me see if other people are saying this and
Hmm.
if it checks,
Yeah.
you know? And that's how the doctor will take you seriously too. Like if you
Hmm.
come in and you're like, "Oh, well, I read this study on PubMed, that was published a year ago that says this, this, and this." Well, they really can't say anything because like they probably haven't read that study,
Right.
And then it's like then they take you seriously. But when you come in and you're like, "Oh, well, I saw an Instagram post," they're gonna be like, yeah."
Exactly it. Yeah. But I guess to that point, helping folks understand, you just talked about PubMed, like helping folks understand that there are other resources beyond just going to social media is a critical aspect of it too. Have you encountered any resistance when you've like pointed people toward, like more like credible sources? Are there folks that are kind of like, I'm more comfortable going with what I know? Like talk to me about that experience in educating the folks that you help.
Kind of get the opposite. Like everyone's very like science based.
Mm-hmm.
So they want like doctors and PubMed studies and like I feel like a lot of people are not really coming to me like, "Oh, I saw this on TikTok, it must be true." And I guess in that sense it's kind of like a little frustrating because I'm like there is so many like a lot of people are very like stuck in the way of conventional medicine
Sure.
and they're like, okay, well, integrative medicine or herbal medicine is
Hmm.
kind of like woo woo, like it's not real or
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
bullshit. And it's just like, no, actually, it's very useful. Like
Hmm.
alternative medicine is helpful in a lot of ways. Like just because it's different than what you're used to or what your doctor knows about,
Hmm.
like doesn't mean that it's not good or that it doesn't work. So yeah, I guess I just try to encourage people to have an open mind.
Totally.
Think that's critical. And I think part of some of the challenges is there's so much misinformation about health and wellness, and some of these health influencers just trying to push supplements or whatever. So I can see why some people are standoffish at first. But as you learn more about it, you can really see the benefits of going down a more holistic functional medicine route. How do you see bridging the gap between conventional and functional medicine? If someone is just on medication and oftentimes that's just not enough to effectively manage your symptoms, or heaven forbid, you get another diagnosis. If someone is in that camp, how can they start down the path of going this holistic functional medicine route?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of hard, like, to find a good provider or like find the information. I feel like Institute of Functional Medicine is a good place to start. It's like official
Hmm.
functional medicine information and such, but then I feel like it's a little hard to find like the specialties. So
Hmm.
I would just, do your regular wherever you like to search and try to find someone who is medically trained, but also is knowledgeable about functional medicine, integrative medicine, and go that way. Like we have a team of pharmacists who practice functional medicine all over the US. It's called Farm to Table. I like to share that with people because people ask me a lot, like how do I go about the functional medicine route? And just see what information you can find online. Like some people aren't ready to work with a provider yet, but there's still like just the principles of functional medicine that they can start incorporating into their lives, like changing the diet, especially for people with autoimmune conditions, chronic illnesses, can really benefit from an AIP diet, so autoimmune protocol. So, you can search that up, or you can like, I have a freebie about it. You could download it, read about it for free and find recipes and stuff like that. That's a great place to start. And other things like, look at your sleep, look at the movement that you're doing. Like, how are you moving your body on a day-to-day basis? Are you walking enough? Are you getting outside? Are you seeing the sun? Is the sun touching your skin? And yeah, just simple principles like that you can focus on before you even dive in with a practitioner.
Hmm. Hmm. I love that you bring up diet and sleep because these are things that sound so like fundamental, but people are really struggling trying to maintain these things in terms of getting enough sleep or maintaining a good diet. What do you say to folks who because I've had this experience where I've talked a bit about it on the show that I'm plant-based. Like sometimes I flex vegetarian, but I'm mostly vegan. And I'll say to folks about how much it's helped me. What do you say to folks who are not quite ready to examine? I'm not saying they have to go vegan, but I'm saying like not ready to examine their diet in terms of understanding that relationship between what we consume and how it makes our bodies feel. Like, how do you help people understand that there is a strong connection?
I feel like people don't understand that connection until they've like tried everything else and nothing works. So
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like you get to that point out of like desperation.
Yeah.
And I wish that I could just like shake someone and be like, "Hey, like change your diet. It's going to help you so much." But like,
Right.
yeah, I feel like a lot of times they just don't get it. Um, but yeah, everything is really so interconnected, like just like the air that you breathe, the food that you eat, it just
Mm-hmm.
affects everything. And like they say like 70 or 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Like that's your first line of defense. So it would almost be silly to like if you have an autoimmune condition to not look at your gut health and
Yeah.
address the way that you're eating.
So wise.
I see on a lot of different social forums that people unfortunately are just so upset about their current situation, whatever flare they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, have you considered changing your diet?
Yeah.
But then when you throw in, like, as soon as I cut out gluten completely, like, my symptoms dramatically improved. And so once you're on the other side of it, it's like, that's incredible how much that was impacting me, and even more amazing at how much better I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hear you on sometimes you just want to shake people. But it's like, you have options. I promise you, you have options. Take a look at your lifestyle.
Yeah, it is really hard, and I think it's like really overwhelming to especially to tell someone that they need to go gluten free and they're like, but bread is my happiness. I'm like, I know, I get it. Like, bread is delicious.
That's the one.
It is
That's the
so
one.
good. But I think like if you focus on what you can add instead
Hmm.
of what you need to remove, it gets a lot easier. Like, even if I'm like removing gluten, right? Like, there's still really good gluten-free bread options. It's not gonna be the same, but it's like you could still get that, I think a lot of gluten-free foods and stuff, like, I think one of the biggest things for me was, like, I just miss having, like, a really, like, greasy, like, mozzarella sticks sometimes, and then I'm like, not saying anyone should eat this. This is definitely not AIP, but I was just like, "You know what? It'll just feel better to have that once," and I found, like, a gluten-free one, and I was like, "Okay, this isn't
Wow.
so bad." Like, that was,
Yeah.
like, my cheat day, And, like, if you're going dairy-free, there's so many good dairy alternatives and, like,
For sure.
I don't even miss whole milk. Like, I don't seek that anymore. Like,
Awesome.
I think oat milk tastes better. Like,
Hmm.
there's a lot of swaps that can happen that make it not so overwhelming. It's just like, you just gotta try.
Yeah. Something you're making me think about as well is just like the nature of, you mentioned sleep earlier and just and talking about the ways in which your lifestyle has changed. Like I think in the same way that we would be, tempted whether it's to have like that greasy mozzarella stick or pizza for me or whatever the case is, I think we're also struggling to really maintain a schedule that allows us to get enough sleep. So I'd love to know, like, what steps did you take, especially, with like some people sleep with their cell phones next to them and all these different things. Like, what are you doing to make sure that you're getting consistent rest every day?
Yeah, it's hard. Like, sleep is a really hard one because people have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have a chronic illness. Like, you have a lot of anxiety and, like, that can
Mm-hmm.
keep you up at night.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might have pain, which, stops them from getting good sleep. So it really is hard to be like, oh, you got to get better sleep, And, but yeah, I think there's like just some simple things that you can do, like turning off your phone and for that hour before you go to bed. Like, I mean, it is so hard. I know it's so hard. I love being on my phone and doom
Mm-hmm.
scrolling before going to bed. But like,
Mm-hmm.
what if you just put it down? Like, I'm not saying, like, start with it in another room, but put it, like, on the floor where you can't reach it,
Right.
and put on just, like, a candle or a lamp and read a book for an hour, and, like, that'll make you drowsy,
Mm-hmm.
and your eyes will be closing, and then you'll fall asleep, versus, like, when you stay on your phone and you're scrolling, it's, like, kinda stimulating, and the blue light from the phone impairs your sleep as well.
Right.
And they say, like, you shouldn't charge your phone and leave it next to your head. There's, like, all this, like, stuff about radiation and how it impacts your sleep. So it's like, just try to keep it, like, a little further
Mm-hmm.
away,
Mm-hmm.
you know? That's one tip that I give people that and they don't really know about that. So
I think people don't realize how much it actually impacts you. It's like, well, it's just sitting there. I'm not looking at it, but it's like there's radiation and other stuff that's affecting you that you could have no clue about. I also appreciate your perspective of not starting with it in another room, like, put it on the floor, so if anything seems, like, unmanageable or undoable, you just gotta break it into smaller steps, and don't freak out if you don't do it every day for the first week. It's like, try it one night, and if you need to do it the next night, fine, but, like, just get back to it. So, basically, don't give up on it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, like, just leave it kinda close enough that it's, like, emotional support there,
Mm-hmm.
but just try not to reach for it. I think also another thing that I like to tell people is to try, like, some breathing exercises.
Mm-hmm.
That helps me when I'm having trouble falling asleep. I'll do box breathing. So
Yeah.
I'll inhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then hold it empty for a count of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do that enough times, I can feel like you get bored and you just fall asleep.
There it is.
Well, it's amazing how it can like reset your physiology and
Sure.
physically make you feel better. I heard one tip the other day. I don't know if either of you have heard this, but one thing to, if you wake up in the middle of the night, close your eyes and then just move your eyes back and forth a number
Mm,
of times. And that's supposed to make you sleepy and get back to sleep quicker.
wow.
Interesting. I haven't heard that one. I feel like that might hurt if you have thyroid eye disease, but
Fair point.
interesting. Yeah, like some of the one of the symptoms when you have thyroid eye disease is like pain on looking up, down, left, and right.
Got you. Okay.
So that might hurt a bit.
Yeah,
Well, so you
for sure.
bring up a good point. So clearly, I'm not versed in thyroid eye disease. Can you just share about it and your experiences with
Mm.
that and Graves?
Sure. I mean, do you want me to like go back and tell my whole story?
Here.
Right. Okay. So I always thought that I was a hypothyroid person because I had all of these symptoms where like I was always cold and I just felt really sluggish and it was hard to lose weight and I was losing hair and um I was gaining weight. Sorry. Yeah, and I just like I was for sure that it was my thyroid and I would like go get my levels checked and they were on the low end, but they wasn't enough for them to say you have hypothyroidism. So I was like trying all these thyroid boosting supplements. And basically, I think whatever I took worked so hard that it pushed me into Graves' disease because suddenly I just started having like my hands were like shaking like this. And I was like, oh, I
Wow.
think I got to lay off the coffee. Like it
Right.
didn't really put two and two together. And then I would like be laying in bed and my heart would be racing and I was hot all the time. And I kind of liked it because I was always cold. So I was like, oh, this is nice. I'm
I'm
finally
warm.
warm. Like everyone around me is like not telling me to like put a hoodie on, you know? So
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome for like a hot minute.
No
Literally.
doubt.
But then I would be in bed and my heart rate was like 130, 140. And I was like, I don't get it. Like I didn't do anything and it was scaring me, but it would like kind of come and go and
Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention to it. And then one day I was getting on a video call with a business coach and I was really nervous. This is like my first time being like, oh, I'm gonna like really do my functional medicine business. And the second I got on the phone call with her, the left side of my face went numb. And I was like, did I just have a stroke? Like, it
Yeah.
was really, really weird. So that's what kind of prompted me to go to the doctor. And lo and behold, my thyroid hormones were really, really high, and my TSH was really, really low, and I had the antibodies for Graves' disease.
Mhm.
And dude, like when you first hear that and you're just like, I have an autoimmune condition, like it's like a slap in the face. It's like, what?
Mhm.
Me? Like how did that happen to me? And it's really weird. So yeah, and I was just like, okay, well, I don't want to have a stroke. So I'm just gonna take the medicine. I started on methimazole 5 milligrams daily, which is a pretty low dose compared to, some of the other people that I encounter
Yeah.
and it worked right away. Like, I felt better in, like, a week. And then the doctor was just like, "Oh, well, you should be in touch with the ophthalmologist. There's a possibility that you can get thyroid eye disease. Like, everyone who has Graves has, like, a 50% chance of getting that." And I was like,
Mm.
"Nah, it's not gonna happen to me. I'm in the 50% that's not getting it." And then so my next follow-up, he's like, "Did you, go see the ophthalmologist?" And I'm like, "No, like, I'm good." And he's just like, "You really should make an appointment." I'm like, "No, like, I've always had big eyes. It's really not a big deal."
Mhm.
And then maybe, like, just after that visit, I started noticing that my eyes would always water. And I was like, "Well, you know what? It's, like, really cold outside, and it happens more so
Mhm.
when I'm outside, so it must just be environmental." And then one day, I was at dinner with my family and my boyfriend, and the inner corner of my eye was, like, so itchy. And just the whole night, I'm scratching, scratching, scratching
Yeah,
on it,
yeah.
and I turn, and my boyfriend's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "You should go look in the mirror." I'm like, "Okay." So I go look in the mirror and the inner part of my eye is just like so red and swollen. It looks like it's popping out of my eye. And I was just like, oh, I think I gotta go see that ophthalmologist.
Yeah.
And then in like the weeks that followed, I started noticing that my left eye was bulging and my eyes were just always tearing no matter what, and I was having some pain and some pressure, and it would just be, like, really painful looking up, down, left, and right, and just it was almost, like, double vision-y for, like, a second if I looked at a certain angle. So I finally went to a neuro-ophthalmologist who did a whole bunch of tests on me, and they did an MRI, and they found that I did have inflammation in both eyes, more so the left than the right. So, yeah, that's thyroid eye disease. So Graves' disease is, and I hate to say, like, an autoimmune attack because I think that's, like, such a negative way of looking at it. I don't believe that my body is attacking itself. Like, actually, I
Mm,
think that my body is protecting itself. So, Graves' disease is kind of an autoimmune response where your thyroid is making too much thyroid hormone. So that's what
yeah.
causes all these, the jitteriness and things like that. And thyroid eye disease is, a mechanism where your body has some inflammation going on
Hmm.
behind the eyes. So people say like, the body is attacking the tissue behind the eyes. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm never going to heal if I'm telling myself that my body is attacking itself, right?
Mm,
So, I think it's just there's inflammation there. And so that's thyroid eye disease. It causes the eyes to bulge sometimes, not in all cases, and causes all these symptoms with the eyes.
I so appreciate the perspective of if you're thinking about your body attacking yourself, that's going
right?
to make it really hard to heal.
Hmm.
How have you worked with your clients and helped others kinda shift their mindset and how they think about these conditions?
That's a really hard one. Like, I think people don't come in ready to change their mindset. And so that's the work,
Hmm.
And I think that's a really valuable reframe. Like, my body is not attacking itself. It's protecting itself. Like, basically what's happening in autoimmune disease is that there's something that your body detects as foreign, and it's somehow taking it out on the organ of its choice,
Yeah.
but it's doing this as a protective mechanism. It is hard to get people to realize that, but I think as long as you hear it, like, and keep practicing that and just, like, work on mindfulness, it really does help with the healing process because
Hmm.
you're just gonna keep feeling stuck if you're in this mindset of, like, "This is happening to me, and my body is attacking itself, and there's
Hmm.
nothing I can do." Like, you're kind of giving this, like, pity mindset when you could be like, I'm strong enough to overcome this. Like, my body has its own innate wisdom. Like, my body can heal itself. And the more you have thoughts like that, the more possible it is to heal.
Yeah. I really appreciate your emphasis on like positive self-talk and its connection that healing the body is really explored throughout a lot of the world's traditions, particularly like within indigenous medicine. I'm wondering what role do affirmations play in your work, like where you're teaching people to like be able to speak positively about themselves, because for many people, even before they had an autoimmune condition, speaking well about themselves is difficult. So how do you help folks get to that place of being able to use those affirmations and positive self-talk?
Yeah, for sure. I love affirmations. And I always tell people, like, every little cell in your body is listening to you.
Hmm.
And every little cell in your body, like, loves you so much. They just want to do whatever it can do to make you happy. So talk to them and be nice to them, and they're going
Right.
to do nice things. So, yeah, I mean, any affirmation that resonates with people works.
Hmm.
I like to say, like, my body is healing, like, my body is perfect, like, I am healing. I always do that one where I'm just like, my body is not attacking itself. Like, I just even take that
Hmm.
word out. I'm just like, my body is protecting itself. My body is regenerating. My body is healing. And just saying things like that over and over is just like, it really does change something within your cells. Like, I
Hmm.
don't know if you guys have ever heard of those studies where people would like say nice things into water and then
Yes.
they would take the cells under a microscope, and they were, like, so beautiful, like, they look like snowflakes, and then they'll do other ones where they, like, say negative things or they'll play, like, scary music, and it looks, like, dark and, like, decay, so it's like, your body is water, and your cells react the same
Mm,
way, you know? So it's just like, be nice to yourself.
no doubt.
All the affirmations and out there, it can seem like a little bit woo woo, but once you understand how your emotions and how you're talking to yourself directly affect your physiology, like it's a game changer.
Hmm.
And I would even add, like, even if you don't even quite believe it, it's like you can say those affirmations until you start to believe it. And I think it's an
Totally.
invaluable tool.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So, Elena, I want to make sure we give you the opportunity to touch on anything we haven't talked about yet. Is there anything else that we should be aware of or any insights that you can share with our community?
I don't know, that kind of puts me on the spot.
It does. Sorry.
There's a lot, like, I can't really think of off the top of my head, but I want people to know that, like, they can advocate for themselves,
Hmm.
and, like, I just wish people had, like, the tools of, like, going into a doctor's office and, like, being like, "Check these labs for me," and I want things to be optimal, not just, like, normal, like,
Hmm.
I feel like people don't stand up for themselves, and I wish that they would, and I wish that they had, like, the tools to do this, like a checklist or something, like, come in I'm actually working on that right now to share with people, like, here is, like, a little checklist of things that you can bring with you to your doctor's office and, like, questions to ask and things to say if they're gaslighting you and, like, just how to, like, break through and get the care that you need.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, like, I really do wish that everyone would advocate for themselves, and I understand that it's hard because not everyone, like, has that knowledge. Like, I was able to advocate for myself because I'm a pharmacist, like, I have all this medical knowledge, and I can come into a doctor's office and call bullshit
Hmm.
and be like, "No, well, you gotta do this, and you have to check this, and what about that, and I read a study about this," like, it's easy for me, but not everyone is able to do that, so I just, like, want to know that I want people to know that they're supported in that, and they can always come reach out to me and lean on me if they need support with that. And then another thing I really did wanna talk about, or maybe we did talk about, was, like, gut health.
Yes.
I think that's really,
So.
really overlooked, especially with people with autoimmune conditions, because it's such a big part of why autoimmune conditions happen and why flares happen. And
Hmm.
I do wish that people would, like, push for that more because it's like, you can go see I mean, in my case, I'm gonna talk about endocrinology because I'm talking about thyroid, but your endocrinologist is never gonna, like, ask you about your gut. They're never gonna do a stool test, like
Mm,
and it's like, it's something that can be so helpful. Like, I've seen that intervention help so, so many people.
mhm,
Or, like, they'll never tell them about supplements like selenium. And, like, that's such a simple thing that someone can add onto their regimen. Like, I've literally seen people have such an improvement in their thyroid eye disease just from that alone. And it's like, "Oh, well, the doctor never mentioned that to me," you know? Yeah, I do wish that people had more, and then another thing, I do wish that people had more access to functional medicine. Like, I do understand that it's really hard, but the tools that they use are really, really useful. Like, it's
mhm,
just different than the testing that you would get at a doctor's office. Like,
mhm,
the stool test tells you so much about your microbiome
mhm,
and, like, overgrowths or not enough good bacteria. It shows you, like, viruses and parasites and all those things and leaky gut. That's, like, a huge thing that people miss with autoimmune disease.
mhm,
And other things like just checking for micronutrients, just like, how you said it was your B vitamins that you needed, and they usually don't check for that unless you ask for it. But there's functional medicine tests that will check like every single micronutrient you can think of and tell you
Mm,
exactly how many milligrams you should take in a supplement form. It's like it's so simple and it's easy to integrate. But yeah, I do also understand that it's very costly.
hear that. Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking about the sort of like comprehensive nature of, you know, making sure all these different aspects of your health are taken care of. And then I'm also just thinking about the access piece because so much of what you're talking about, Elena, like I think about the folks who use the emergency room as their checkup, and we're saying all these things. So I'm just really, you got my mind going in ways of creating access for people so that they are able to know how to advocate for themselves and say like, oh, I need to, whether it's order selenium or ask for functional, medicine tests, all these different aspects of, educating folks to know what they actually need and providing access for those things that they have otherwise barriers to.
One tip I have on the affordability piece, I had worked with a functional medicine practitioner and she told me which labs I should get done. And then I had my primary care physician who is phenomenal. They may not all do this, but she just ran them as my regular doctor appointment. So then it was covered by my insurance. So
Awesome.
that's just one way to make it a touch more affordable.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So we do that on our platform as well. So we are pharmacists who practice, but we also have doctors on the team who can sign off on lab orders and send them to LabCorp. So
Great.
whatever we can test through a lab like that where your insurance will cover, we will send out. So that's really, really helpful. And then
Mm,
also we just started working with a lab that basically, the tests are, like, half off. Like, they have a deal where you can get 3 functional medicine lab tests for $700, but usually they're, like, $500 each. So something
mm,
that would cost me, like, 1,500 costs
right.
700, which is more than 50% off. So I've been, like, really trying to help people get access to those labs
Hmm.
and our doctors can order those as well. So if people have private insurance, sometimes they'll cover the functional labs, but it's rare to see them cover those, but they really are so insightful.
I
It's
couldn't
awesome.
agree more. And I would say the long term benefits probably offset the costs of having to stay on so much
No
medication
question.
indefinitely.
No
Yeah, I
question.
spent a lot of money on supplements. Just it's like a shot in the dark, you know? You see this one thing online, you read it online, you're like, "Oh, maybe that helps, and maybe that helps, and maybe that helps." So you end up trying them all, and then I was like, I wasted so much money and nothing really helped.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, like, if I just, like, shelled out the money for the test, like, I could see exactly what the root cause is, like, "Okay, you have this bacteria in your gut, you need this supplement." Like, I know what I need, and I'm getting exactly what I need, and I'm spending money in the right place versus just, like, throwing darts and seeing what
Hmm.
sticks, you know? So that really was helpful. It also saved me a lot of time and energy.
Hmm.
You know, trying to figure it out, like, "Oh, what could this root cause be?" Because I mean, it could be anything. It could be your gut, it could be Lyme, it could be mold, you know, it could be, like, insulin resistance, it could be stress, it could be none of that, you know? There's so many different triggers, but it really does help to pinpoint it when you can't figure it out.
For sure.
You've got me
Couldn't
ready
agree
to
more.
order a functional medical exam. I'm about to jump on these Googles, check out Soul Script. I'm about to make something happen. You're inspiring me.
I would love to help you. I mean,
Thank you.
like, truly.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I want to say for anyone who is interested in learning more, please check out Elena at Soul Script on Instagram. And where else can people learn more about you, Elena?
Sure. So on Instagram, I'm at soulscript.co, which is also my website, not .com. So it's www.soulscript.co. And I also started a new page, which I thought sounded cute, but it's called Thyroid Love Club. So I'm also on
Oh,
Instagram as
That's great.
Thyroid Love Club. And you know, you can also go to thyroidloveclub.com. It redirects to the same page. I'm also on TikTok as Thyroid Love Club, starting a YouTube as Thyroid Love Club. I think it just like sounds easier to find.
It's great.
Yeah, thank you. I thought it was a good name for like our little thyroid community. So yeah,
Yeah.
and if you want to join, I still do the support groups. We just had one this week and it was amazing. So anyone who wants to join the support group is more than welcome. I kind of like throw out random dates to try to get it to be good for different people because sometimes people are like, I'm in Africa. Can you change the time and make it in the afternoon? I'm like, sure. Or like they
Yeah.
like need a weekend. So sometimes I'll just kind of throw it out like a week or 2 before it's due. So just, stay in touch, like follow me, and I kind of post the updates.
We'll be for sure check that out. And
Hmm.
then I want to mention if you are struggling with isolation and feeling alone, don't be shy about reaching out to us. At Invigorate, we've just launched individual and group coaching sessions to help you process and get to a place where you can adapt and live a full life with these conditions. Because as Elena has shown us today, that there is hope and our bodies are just trying to protect us. We just got to figure out what that root cause is.
Hmm.
So, Elena, thank you so much for being here. You were incredibly helpful. I even learned a few things, so I appreciate you sharing your story and your wisdom with us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I love talking to you guys.
That's a
Of
joy.
course. Thank you, Chris. I always appreciate your having you a part of these conversations.
It's always a joy to be here and just really, like you said, to learn so much and excited about the work you're doing, Elena. So thank you.
Thank
For
you.
sure. So, until next time, take care of yourselves and don't be shy about getting in touch. Peace.